It's the rise and the fall of Miss New Zealand.
So I was 16 years old when Miss New Zealand was taken off TV, and that is pretty disappointing because it's an iconic platform for an iconic position to be on the global stage.
Interesting to know that I was the last year. Didn't know that, actually.
I think there was two reasons. I think it was financial, and then I think it was the social stigma.
We were constrained by budgets when other countries such as India and that were just throwing money at these people. They were becoming megastars, and that's why Miss India, Miss Philippines, all of them rose exceptionally, and Miss New Zealand shrank to the back.
The world has changed. Sponsorship, of course, is so much harder, and to put a professional show together now is quite different to all these lovely years that we've had.
Back then, I understand that everyone loved watching Miss New Zealand. These days, people don't really care as much, I don't think.
I'm fortunate enough to remember 60s, 70s and 80s as being the heydays.
That classic beauty that probably was what Miss Universe, Miss New Zealand was aiming for in the early 80s would be totally different right now. We've changed our aesthetics.
New Zealand's a very different country today. I think we're all aware that actually just physical beauty isn't enough anymore, and that glorifying of a woman's body.
I think it's something that will probably disappear. That it's just one of those things, you know. Things come and go. I think it's a yesterday idea.
I think that's still in the past now.
I feel like it's gone underground. Maybe it's just that whole getting judged. I don't know.
We need girls of a high caliber. We need a beautiful girl who knows herself inside and out, is confident. I'm not saying doesn't have any baggage, doesn't have any past.
I feel I could probably choose a Miss New Zealand today who would do really well, because I've sort of kept up on the looks that they're looking for.
We need to go back to the type of girl that we selected in the 80s.
So maybe for Miss New Zealand to be more competitive is to tap the half Filipino girls or those with Filipino heritage who grew up in New Zealand.
I mean, who knows where they're going to find her? She could be on a farm in Cambridge, or she could be in the South Island on the ski slopes.
Why don't we send a size 16, a real plus size model one, not a size 12 that has curves but still looks really slim? What about those beautiful women who are that 14 to size 20? Where are those girls? We're really missing them, and they are beautiful.
I think it's harder to get the caliber of girls interested because it's had quite a bad rap.
I worked with 4 models the other day on a campaign, and I asked all 4, would you ever consider entering Miss New Zealand? And they all said they'd rather die than enter. That was just off limits for them.
Outdated, a bit old-fashioned, and just a bit behind in the times.
I think my uncle would have killed me if I had gone into Miss New Zealand.
If I was young again, I'm not sure if I would do it. You know, that's my feeling.
I would do it all again.
I met my husband because I was Miss New Zealand. We were married for 50 years, and life's been very good to me. So I would definitely do it all again. All thanks to Miss New Zealand.
Well, it's a golden opportunity. You know, in my time it was a golden opportunity. And you grow as a person with it. It gives you enormous confidence. And in that regard, it's a win-win. So maybe I would. Maybe the answer is yes.
Miss New Zealand's not shown on TV anymore, but it's shown on the internet, which is the biggest platform to view anything.
You could definitely find a Miss New Zealand on Instagram. There are so many girls out there, so many talented girls out there.
Let's get behind our national icons and let's create someone new.
Because we are involved in the industry, we would love nothing more to have full-length pageant, but I don't think it will happen.
You need to have support from your country. It's too damn expensive and no one can earn any money doing it these days. And that's the biggest problem we have. And why do you think Venezuela wins it? Because someone's behind it and they put money in, and these girls go over there and they've got the best of everything.
There will always be a relevance for acknowledging beauty around the world, but what that will be, I've really got no idea. It's going to change, I think, on a continual basis.
The feminist 54-year-old would say, I don't really like judging women at all on the way they look.
Basing it off a gender, basing it off purely beauty is really archaic and not modern. And I think if it is to continue, if it is to stay relevant, and let's face it, that's the most important thing, if it's going to go ahead, it's got to be relevant.
I don't know that it will come back on TV the same.
I don't even know whether I want to watch them. I'd rather watch Eurovision if there was a toss-up between Eurovision and a beauty contest. They're both as mad as each other in some respects.
A couple of years ago, there was one on, and we flicked it on, and it's just kind of a weird feeling, I think, now. I sit there and I go, oh gosh.
I do not want to see it back on TV. It will just never go back to those magic days of the 80s.
The worst thing that we can do is have it on TV and have it not being aired properly, or strange performances or things like that make it look even worse than what people think it already is.
I think there was far too much focus put on putting Miss New Zealand back on TV and lost focus on all the other important stuff.
It's never televised here in Australia.
If it really was the most beautiful girls in the world, then it would be different, maybe a little more interesting.
We would all like to achieve world peace, but it's not going to come about by a beauty contest.
I just don't think young people are interested anymore.
If they're about giving women an opportunity to talk and be themselves, I'm all for it. If it's just based on how you look, I think we've gone past that.
Are we always a Miss New Zealand for life?
Absolutely. It's quite unfair, but people expect that you're going to look the same, behave the same.
It's such an iconic brand that once you become Miss New Zealand, you've almost got it for life.
I still get people when I'm introduced as Lorraine Downes, someone will say, you won Miss Universe.
We want to remember those really beautiful women and those really beautiful moments. So yes, it's something that they have to live with.
I'm still very, even at my age now, still very aware I was Miss New Zealand.
Elaine will always be famous. She's still got the most amazing look, and wherever she goes, people recognise her.
I've always tried to live up to the title, and of course being constantly asked, was I Miss New Zealand? Yes, it stays with you forever, I think.
You can hear a little buzz around the restaurant. That's Miss New Zealand.
I'll be somewhere and give my name and they'll be chatting. Then I get this sort of cock of the head and they'll go, do I know you from somewhere? Or your name seems familiar, especially if my maiden name comes out. They do suddenly go, I remember you from somewhere. Where do I know you? I'm like, no.
It's a bit like being an actor. You get labelled for your best movie. Well, that's possibly their best moment in New Zealand public history.
Still at the parties, my friends are still introducing me as Miss Universe New Zealand from 2011. And I'm like, guys, it was 10 years ago. Like, let it go. They're like, it's so cool. And I don't know when I stopped believing that it was.
Still emotional, very emotional about it, and very proud.
Well, it's so long ago. I think, how did I do so much in such a short time, and how lucky I was to have that opportunity.
I think it's like another world sometimes.
And you can't really believe it. You think really it's like a past dream.
I hope they all know how loved and respected they were and are by the public now, and how good they were, and how proud we are of them, and how proud they should be of themselves.
People still remember me winning Miss Universe. It blows me away. It blows me away that people still remember it. And, it was 38 years ago. It doesn't define me, but it's part of my history. Absolutely.
Take a pinch of passion and a dash of dare, a teaspoon of warm light and a cup of care, tablespoon of charisma, 3 cups of knowledge, sprinkle of grain and grit, an ounce of what your mama thinks. Come alive with Madame Rouge, don't matter what you choose, decorate with their stick, don't be surprising, give charm and character, be so beguiling, alluring and hypnotic, breathing you hot topic, but always know where you're from and all your friends who've gotten on. Call a laughing gallow, let go of all your worries, find spontaneity and your sensuality, 'cause it's good to be a woman. Yeah, it's good to be a woman. Yeah, it's good to be a woman. Yeah, it's good to be a woman. 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 Take a bunch of daffodils and some sweet freesias, a few stems of roses, whatever your eye pleases, 'cause life's a bouquet, a mixed bag of beauty, just like a woman, abandonment and duty. Color, hope, and dark and blue, life's point is up to you. Hold on to substance, let go of decadence, 'cause it's good to be a woman. Yeah, it's good to be a woman. Yeah, it's good to be a woman. Yeah, it's good to be a woman. Da-da-da-da.
Are you allowed to say who's your favourite Miss New Zealand?
Ooh, see that girl, watch that scene, dig it, the dancing queen.
Make it real, darlings. Cheers to that.
This is painful.
Oh,
Get out. Oh, stop it. That's so bad. Don't use that. Please don't use that.